Hey everyone, welcome to KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today is Tech Tuesday, baby. We made it to Tuesday. It's one of our audience's favorite days of the week where we discuss new tech news and local news involving technology in an ever-developing, technologically focused digital world, which is the subject of a lot of our topics today. We got one of our topics includes being able to store data files on birds, which is crazy, I know, but we're going to dive into it, as well as a cybersecurity hack and how you can stay safe from scams online and to protect your information, how AI, artificial intelligence, is helping the elderly but also hurting artists, and a new Louisiana House bill that affects drivers and the use of phones while driving. Which brings me to my first topic of a bird being able to store data files. And you might be thinking, what the heck? Like, how is that even possible? But I'm going to tell you why. Because YouTuber Ben Jordan used a starling to store a data file, which a starling is a type of songbird. And you might be thinking, why don't you use a parrot for this? Because they're most commonly associated with speech and mimicking sounds. But did you know that songbirds actually have some of the best developed vocal abilities in animals? I didn't know that. That's a really interesting fact. I didn't realize that their vocal cords were that developed. But this songbird in particular that stored the data file in the YouTube video actually left the nest early on and was found on the side of the road. It was believed that the bird left the nest because there was a lot of stress, because his home was essentially right next to a railroad track, which is a lot of loud noises that aren't normally found in nature. So he was susceptible particularly to very unconventional noises that birds would hear in development. And young songbirds actually learn calls through imitation like parrots do, but a songbird essentially, while in development, has a blank canvas for archiving sounds. So this YouTuber took this songbird and used that to his advantage because he ended up creating a PNG image, which is a type of image file of a normal bird that looked like a normal, like, kid's drawing of a bird with normal just lines. And he put that shape into a spectral synthesizer, which turned the image into an audio waveform. And if you ever used an audio software system like SoundCloud or Audacity or Premiere Pro, any audio editing software, you'll know that audio files are often depicted in the form of sound waves, depending on how loud a sound is or how quiet it is, and also the frequency of the sound on a chart or map, essentially, to see where exactly it gets louder or quieter. So if you are familiar with that, you'll know what an audio waveform is. So the audio waveform essentially drew the exact image of that bird using the audio waves, and the YouTuber basically played the image to the bird, and the bird mimicked the sound at the exact same frequency of the image and reproduced the picture using the audio forms. Like whenever he went to check his data and the recordings later on, he found that the audio waves formed the picture of that same bird. So technically speaking, the bird was able to store that data in its sound memory and transmit that back to the YouTuber in the form of that exact same image using the sound waves, which is one of the craziest things I've heard in a while. I didn't even know that something like that was possible. I didn't even know you could change an image into a sound. I didn't even know that was a thing. But that was super interesting to have that another form to store your data, essentially. I know we have like the cloud and other external ways of storing data, like through hard drives or thumb drives. But not all of your data, when being stored, is safe. And one instance of that recently was the app T, which recently just skyrocketed on top of the App Store. It was the number one app for July. It had over 4 million views 4 million downloads in a week. And for those of you who don't know what it is a women-only dating safety app that aims to allow anonymous reviews of men in your local area. If women who write their reviews had an unsafe experience or they felt like they were in danger, they could let people know, like, hey, pretty much like steer clear, just to protect other people. And unfortunately, while users were signing up, it was required that you provided a photo ID and a selfie. And over 72,000 images got leaked last week, including 13,000 selfies and photo IDs, including government IDs, driver's license, like everything with people's personal information, their name, their face, their addresses. It was to a point where people were able to map where each of the users were on a map based on their driver's licenses and their addresses that were on them. So it was a really scary situation for people who had their information just out in the open. And at one point there was, I guess, these internet trolls that created a website where they ranked the pictures that got leaked of the girls, and that is just flat out disgusting. And it's just unbelievably gross thing to do to someone, but it's very unfortunate for all the people that were involved. But people are wondering if it was actually hacked or not, because the data breach that got leaked was found by users on the forum site 4chan, and those users found those files through a publicly available URL and website where pretty much anyone had access to. It wasn't necessarily a hack per se, they just found it on their own. And this sentiment is echoed by people on social media, where in one particular case, a TikTok software engineer said that calling it a hack is giving people too much credit. It was mainly due to poor programming over anything, because there were basically no security measures that were put in place at all. And like I said, anyone could have found this information just by going on the internet and just finding it themselves. It wasn't locked behind anything. It was just available for pretty much everyone to see. But if you're worried about your data leaking and you want to protect yourself from any scams or cybersecurity hacks that could leak that data, very sensitive data on the website for anyone to see, you might want to check what is going on in your local area. I know in the Caddo-Bossier area, there was recently a cybersecurity workshop held by the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office that aimed to teach digital safety towards young children to protect themselves online, as more and more people are readily online as days go on. People have access to the entire internet at their fingertips, essentially, so it's important that you stay safe and learn how to manage your data, and just to make sure nobody gets that in their hands. And NBC's Yalisha Gatewood has more about the workshop and what other authorities are doing to help protect the youth online.
Parish Sheriff's Office is teaching children about digital safety with a new initiative called Behind the Screen. This interactive workshop is designed to prepare young people for the challenges they may face online. During today's program at Sheriff's Safety Town, participants learned how to spot suspicious behavior and recognize the red flags of artificial intelligence scams. Deputies say it's about keeping kids safe and informed.
I want to show them how to be safer with these things online. With my experience on patrol, I've had to do everything from scams to juvenile crimes and things like that. I would like to give these kids a chance to prevent a lot of that from happening, so I can try to catch some of these instances before they become a victim.
Some topics discussed were how to safely interact online and how to protect personal information.
And as I said before, as the world continues to grow towards this digital-focused and AI-powered world, AI in particular, artificial intelligence, is all the rage right now. And one company is actually using it as a tool to help aging Americans live at home as well as help their caregivers while they're taking care of them. And NBC's Alexandra Meacham has more to show you basically how it works.
Technology that transforms the television into a lifeline for healthcare giving. That is the message of Jubilee TV, formed out of a son's desire to help his aging mother and in-laws.
There's an immense sense of guilt when your mom is alone at 90 plus in her home and struggling, and you can't take care of her as much as you would like to. There's a notion of guilt. But then when technology comes to help you, it gives independence to mom and gives you, as a family caregiver, the power to take care of your mom.
The goal is to help seniors continue living in their homes as they age, using their televisions to connect them instantly and easily with their families.
My goal was, how do we build this bridge between family caregivers who are living remotely and who have their phone and app with them, and older adults who are in front of the TV 7-8 hours a day.
Jubilee TV offers a variety of functions, from sending photos, reminders, important health information, to alerts of any falls.
And then the AI platform kind of notifies you if there's something out of the ordinary. So it's like keeping a watchful eye.
Bringing a sense of relief to their caregivers.
The burden on the family caregiving already is reduced. I have people saying, I go back 7 days and I can see exactly what my mom has done.
Mom, it's the input button, not the volume.
Giving their caregivers remote access to change and monitor the content in order to create a peaceful setting.
Now you're literally almost virtually there in the room. You can see what's on the TV, you can put any show or content.
Ashish Agawar helped launch the patented technology behind Jubilee TV that incorporates cutting-edge artificial intelligence using motion and audio tech. With his engineering background, he started as the company's chief technology officer. Now taking over as CEO, he envisioned using the company for senior care, inspired by his own family's needs after he moved to America.
My father-in-law was a nuclear scientist, is now with dementia, really hard to manage. And then how do I kind of keep an eye on them? They're doing okay, they're not doing okay. You can't be there with them all the time. So that was kind of the need for me that I saw myself.
Jubilee TV places an AI device into the room with a camera and microphone on the TV and connects to the caregiver's app. Privacy settings are built in to avoid misuse. He explains why the television is the best means for elderly seniors to use.
Simple, it's easy to control, it's big, it's loud, right? Tablets and phones really aren't that effective at that age, right? You think about much older, like last 5 years of the life, right? With hearing impairment, with visual impairment, with dementia.
He says artificial intelligence can be used to empower people as they grow older.
They want to live independently, and they understand that children care about them, so they are juggling between their own kids and their parents.
He says Jubilee TV is getting ahead of what will become a worldwide problem as the population, lifespans, and disease increase. So the best means of utilizing artificial intelligence in a practical and loving way is for caring for seniors now and in the future.
I think we live to create a positive impact. And I think through technology, if we can create that, then I would think that my life is well lived.
I'm Alexandra Meacham reporting.
And then it's really awesome to see just how it's being used for good, but unfortunately, it can also be used for bad when talking about AI, especially for art and fashion. And that leads me to my next topic, which includes Vogue magazine and how they are using AI in their magazines in the form of AI models. They recently had an ad for the Guess clothing brand in their August issue that featured AI models, and Vogue commented on it and said it was not an editorial decision. It was created by an AI marketing agency where Guess reached out to them specifically and asked them to create models for their upcoming summer campaign, and it was reported that Guess paid on the low end of a 6-figure sum to do that, which is mind-boggling to me. And it just further reinforces people's fears of AI taking control and opportunities from humans and work employment from humans. And the AI marketing agency responded to that and said it's actually creating jobs, which, come on, like, let's not beat around the bush here. But they said that they created them by conducting a reference photo shoot using a real-life photographer and human model, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, why would you go through the trouble of doing all this to create just a robot or not even real person, especially spending all that money? I mean, at that point, like, why not just do a normal photo shoot with real model and feature them in the ad? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and especially in the fashion world where there's already problems with these unrealistic beauty standards for young women and girls that are looking up to these models and saying, oh, why can't I be like them? And now you really can't, because these models aren't even real. So you physically can't even attain this look if you wanted to. So it's just really frustrating for every normal person. And I don't know why or how many people are going to buy into the idea that the future of human beauty is through robots. I mean, like, I don't know who's going to subscribe to that, but I digress. I could go on and on about that, but that leads me to my final topic, which involves Louisiana drivers, where a recent House bill just got passed that bans the handheld use of cell phones while driving, and that takes effect this Friday, August 1st, and Renee Allen has more on that.
From staffing increases to supply drives, Bossier Parish schools are doing what they can to prepare for the first day of school.
The new cell phone usage law while driving goes into effect August 1st. The driver will be issued a warning. Lafayette Police explained January 1st, officers will issue citations.
It's just to keep everybody on the roadway safe.
Sergeant Green agrees. An easy way to remember the new rule: drive with nothing in your hands.
Use your Bluetooth, and if you have to use your speakerphone, which that is fine, but the phone cannot be in your hands. You can use phone holders inside of your vehicle, but not in your hand.
According to the new law, a driver is prohibited from holding a wireless communications device to make calls, text, post, take pictures, or browse the web, and that's just to name a few. Louisiana State Trooper Peggy Bork reminds us hands-free phone usage while driving applies to the highway as well.
You're going faster on a highway. I mean, highways are between 55 and 75 miles an hour, usually. And you're going that fast and you're not realizing when you look down at your phone for 5 seconds, even if it's like a quick glance, you've already traveled the length of a football field.
The fine is $100, reducible through community hours.
Don't want to ever have that thought, that what if thought. What if I were paying attention and I would have had that extra couple seconds to react? Maybe I wouldn't have hit that person, or maybe I wouldn't have overcorrected and caused that crash.
And one question I had about that when it first announced that it was passed was how it would affect rideshare drivers like Uber and Lyft, as well as DoorDash, because if you've ever ridden in one, you'll know that they often have their phone up on the dash to see where they need to go, who they need to drop off, and just everything they need to do their job. So I'm glad that it doesn't affect them, because if you see, as per the video, it only affects it if you have your phone physically in your hand, but you can have it on a phone holder that is hooked up to the dash. So I'm glad that's not going to affect anyone, because I know a lot of people do that as like a side hustle on the weekends or after work to make an extra bit of cash. So I'm glad that they're not affected in any way. But please be sure to stay safe on the roads while driving. Pay attention. Even if you have to plug in a map or anything, just make sure you do that before you start driving, just so your eyes are focused on the road at all times. But that's all from me today. Be sure to stick with us this week for tomorrow's edition of Wellness Wednesday and Thursday, where we'll be looking forward to the weekend ahead and what events you can get involved in and what you can do, and just have a good time. And then Friday, we'll be recapping some of the feel-good stories from throughout the week on Feel Good Friday to put a cherry on top at the end of the week and just ease you into a nice, relaxing weekend, hopefully. And you can catch all of our older episodes on KTAL News on our YouTube page at KTAL News, and all of this week's previous episodes on our website at KTAL News Now, or KTALnews.com, which is also where we will be live every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. for KTAL News Now. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and looking forward to chatting with y'all through the rest of the week. And thank you for joining us.